Well, Coasters, today another inwards email from a person stuck in Australia, and they've contacted the Coasters Club because we've taken an interest in Kiwis who are struck abroad, and just as important, those people in New Zealand who haven't been able to visit their grandchildren, their family, be there when a tragedy occurs. There's been so many things that have happened, and all of us hold a New Zealand passport. We're all New Zealand taxpayers, and the passport gives us that right to leave New Zealand and to re-exit, as does the Bill of Rights. Of course, the government has the ability to override that with legislation in the event of a pandemic. Now that's great, and there's no question that in the first 3 months, maybe even 6 months, the legislation was warranted. But it's 22 months now, and there are people being impacted right across the world. A lot in Australia. There's 1 million Kiwis that live offshore. 72,000 voted in the last election. 30,000 is the number that are always in the lottery to gain entry. Some have been 9, 10, 11 times and missed out. Can you imagine what that's doing? We've had a few that have emailed us, and about 50 in the last wee while, that either want to be interviewed or would like their story told. And so today, I'm going to read out an inward email, and it's just more of the same. How about this? Hi, Bruce. We have family here on the Gold Coast, and we came over when the Australian borders opened at the end of March 2020. We were intending to return before the 26 weeks allowed before our pensions would be stopped. So they planned it pretty well. In July, the announcement was made that New Zealand would have an 8-week border closure. And so we immediately booked our earliest return flight, being the 5th of September. So they did the right thing. Progressive cancelled flights due to border closures, no available MIQ rooms, and so on and so on. 4 flights booked, paid for, and cancelled. And the real kick in the guts, our pensions were stopped through no fault of ours because we overstayed 26 weeks. It was the New Zealand government that is preventing us from returning. And then they stopped the pension. We've written, spoken, filled forms in to explain. But sadly, it's on deaf ears. What on earth has happened to the New Zealand we have been so proud of? The goalposts are moved at the last moment. The knee-jerk reactions without any regard to how so many people will be affected. The emotional and psychological strain this is putting on so many people from everywhere trying to get home. Our flight for the 20th of January and into self-isolation at home was cancelled. When Hipkins announced all flights would be cancelled from Australia as of the 23rd of the 12th, 2021. Great Christmas news for many of us. Not knowing when we will be able to return is really taking a toll on everyone affected. Thanks for your offer to get the story out. It may help, it may not. But from all of us, thank you. Some of the other emails that I'll be reading out over the next month or so, you will feel so sad because some of them are just full of tragic circumstances. Now, it's 22 months since these draconian laws were put in place. Now, they weren't draconian when they were first put in. They were necessary. But it's 22 months later. And now you have to say, what is this doing to our democracy? What is it? People like my father, who's the guy on the right, over my right-hand shoulder. Sorry, my left-hand shoulder. I'm looking backwards here. 5 years in the RNZAF during World War II. Our grandparents went to Gallipoli. What were they fighting for? They were fighting because they were New Zealanders. They were fighting for freedom. They were fighting for the rights built into your passport. Here we are here, where we have nearly 30,000 people affected, and that's just offshore. Every one of you in this country will know someone who is impacted. Perhaps he's got a fly-in, fly-out job. Perhaps he's got an offer of employment. Perhaps they haven't seen their grandchild, their new grandchild. Perhaps they haven't been able to go to that tragic occasion that occurred. They're simply locked out. And those people offshore who are in the same circumstances, who make application to a faceless bureaucrat trying to explain, Dad's dying. We've got to see him. Sorry, computer says no. It's absolutely tragic. And the story, like this one here, has got to go out and be told. Now look, from a beautiful coast day, have a great day. Spread the story. Spread the word for these people, because they are truly trapped offshore. You know, if you had someone kidnapped in China or Russia or wherever, we would be doing everything to get them home at whatever cost. We would do everything. And here we have 30,000 people trapped offshore, grounded. It's not good enough. Catch you later.